What is good? We're back. We're nearing the end of the fantasy draft season. We wanted to do one more run through some updated ADP and just kind of quickly run through some risers and fallers that we've kind of been seeing, talk about it a little bit. So we're going to quickly move through the rounds. We'll settle in a couple of spots and talk about guys we've been seeing moving up and down. Chev, how you doing on the, I don't know, what do we got, 10 days before football?
9
times.
Is it 9? All right, when this comes out, it'll be less than that. So there are fewer and fewer days on this side of the dirt until I have American tackle football that I get to witness with my eyes. And I've already taken off work that Friday so I can just revel in how right I am about George Pickens and Dak Prescott, or just how wrong I am. And I just got to suffer through the weekend, and I'm just going to make the suffering even worse that following Monday.
Yeah, I like it. All right, here we go. Jamar Chase, 101, Bijan, 102. CeeDee Lamb up 3 spots to the 102, or the 103, rather. You know, we went and did the projections with Chris, or rather Joseph, and did not like CeeDee Lamb this high. So, you know, I understood what he was saying. So, you know, up a little bit there. Justin Jefferson down 1. We got Saquon at 105. We got Gibbs at 106. And then we got Christian McCaffrey up 6 spots at the 107. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 108. Derrick Henry, 109. Malik Neighbors, 110. Puka Nacua, 111. And Nico Collins rounding it out at the 112. Puka was down 3 spots. Neighbors down 3 spots. And the big climber, Christian McCaffrey.
That is perfectly balanced the way things should be. I think, you know, healthy Christian McCaffrey, you know, we're in the conversation with him being up here. Jamar Chase, Bijan, he averaged more points per game than Jamar Chase's Triple Crown season in 2023. So, yeah, I mean, he's healthy. It's all systems go. The only thing that you're really fading is whether or not you believe he can stay healthy. That's what you have to do. You have to make a story and just be willing to be right or wrong one way or the other. If you're out on Christian McCaffrey here because you think he's going to get hurt, then you're never going to be in no matter what. If you're in, then you're along for the ride. It's 15 games and he's pretty much the RB1, or it's 3 games and we all cry together.
That's right. I had a buddy who texted me today. I misread his text message and he was like, I'm about to be on the clock. And he was saying he was had the first pick, but I read it as he said it was saying it was the 12 man. And I thought he was saying he had the 12th pick. And I said, hey, take Christian McCaffrey if he's there. And he's like, I'm never taking Christian McCaffrey. He got me twice. So, you know,
that's real though.
Yeah.
That's
for sure.
Real.
For sure.
Like in 2023, when Justin Jefferson was the hot boy #1 pick in redraft, and everybody was like, yeah, you got to take Justin Jefferson. I was like, no, I'm taking Christian McCaffrey. Like it is the perfect back for this system. And he plays all the snaps, and it's an elite offense, and he's not coming off the field. If he's healthy, he's going to be a top 1 or 2 running back.
Yep. That exactly right. And, you know, B-Rob coming in does not concern me with any of Christian McCaffrey for the season, really. It just they shored up an RB2 position, and maybe it does take a little bit of load off of Christian McCaffrey, but hell, they need another receiver right now, so maybe you can get Christian McCaffrey in the slot a little more to start the season, catching a couple more passes.
Yeah, let's get 125 targets for Christian McCaffrey and just see what. Let's just play just the Christian, just a little bit in the slot. Just a little bit, just to see how it feels.
That's right. All right.
Round on my hair.
That's right. Round 2, we got Achane, Genty, Brian Thomas. Achane's up 3 spots. Genty's down 2 spots. Brian Thomas even. Drake London down 2 spots. Brock Bowers at the 205 even. AJ Brown even at the 206. Chase Brown 207 up 7 spots. Big movement for Chase Brown. Bucky Irving stays put. Josh Jacobs -2 there. Coming in at the 209. Jonathan Taylor 210, 211. Ladd McConkey down 2 spots. Jonathan Taylor up 2 spots. Trey McBride coming in at 212, -1 spot. So that rounds out your second round. Any hesitation on drafting Achane at the moment with soft tissue?
It's just it's nerve-wracking. It's nerve-wracking. It's the everything that I just said about Christian McCaffrey, redo for Devon Achane. That's the bet that you have to make, and that's the bet that you have to lie in. Also, if you're gonna do this, I believe Ollie Gordon is now the clear handcuff. Gotta do that. We'll talk about Ollie Gordon later, but you gotta do it. I promise you.
It does seem like it's trending in that direction for sure. So I like that. JSN coming in at 301. Kyron Williams 302, up 3 spots for Kyron here. He's been steadily climbing. Josh Allen down 5 spots. Lamar Jackson 304 stays even. Garrett Wilson -2. 306. T. Higgins +2, up 2 spots. Georgie Kittle here climbing up 5 spots at the 307. Tyreek Hill at the 308, down 2. James Cook up 6 spots at the 309. Jaden Daniels 310, coming in up 1 spot. Breece Hall coming in at the 311. He's down 4 spots. And then Omarion Hampton bringing up 312, up 6 spots currently in the ADP. So we had talked about these tight ends and how to approach them, and Kittle seems to be the spot to, if you want to take a tight end and you want to wait an extra round, it's that gap's closing more and more currently.
Yes. So people are getting sharp. This was always like 4th round George Kittle was going to be a memory that all the best ball bros dreamed about, at the end of 2025. It's like, did it really happen? It's like that old man sitting at the table at the end of Inception. Like, did it really happen? So I'm fine. I told you I've been doing this in real drafts. Like we did it on the live stream. One of my buddies knew that I was not going to let George Kittle get past me at the 310, so he took him at the 3.5. Mm-hmm. Like those are real things that happen in real drafts. It's happened multiple times now. So I feel great about that pick. I'm usually going to punt quarterback, so Jaden Daniels is pretty much off my board at that point, unless there's just some unique circumstance. But I typically don't do that. What about you? What are you thinking here? Is there anything that sticks out? Do you think that? How are you? Let me do this. What do you think about Breece Hall? How are you feeling about Breece Hall right now? What's the sentiment? I heard what you said on the Dynasty show, but I'm curious does that change your outlook?
RB14, 311, not really. I mean, I'm good. I'm fine with him there. Alvin Kamara's kind of floating around right in that area, so I'd be fine with like that combo on a turn, right? Breece and Alvin Kamara. Look, Breece Hall's still a really good pass catcher. The Jets are going to run the ball a lot, like a lot, and the offensive line looks pretty good. And so, look, they're probably going to have 2 guys. There's probably going to be 2 backs. Like I don't think this should be shocking to anybody. There's probably going to be a 1A and a 1B. I think Breece is going to be the 1A. Breece is trying to get a contract. Breece is the second best pass catcher on this team.
Are you a survivor? Are you not going to give up? Then you need to sign up for this new game called Fantasy Football Survivor. Instead of picking an NFL team to win each week, you set a new fantasy lineup. But you can only use a player once per season. Advance each week by staying out the bottom percentile and performing over expected. Drink. The contest is free to join. Sign up for the main event. Create your own leagues. What are you waiting for? Click the link in the description.
So I think at this point we're starting to almost get Breece in the 4th round. I'm perfectly fine with that. Really depends on what kind of build you like. I've been really liking, either an anchor wide receiver and then 3 running backs, or 3 running backs and then like 4 wide receivers. Have kind of been, I love kind of 4, 5, 6 right now, or even 5, 6, 7 wide receivers, being a whole lot of fun. And I feel really good about that squad of core group. And then I can attack, either get a tight end 1 through 4, or 3 running backs and grab that extra wide receiver there. Those have kind of been my favorite teams to build. And then Omarion Hampton coming in there at 312. When we look at the projections of kind of where all these guys sit, Omarion Hampton's just seems to be a pretty safe play in the quality stats model prediction, right?
Yeah.
So got a pretty safe floor at 209, and then the upside is really, really significant at 295. So, now
that seems
we all know what the upside is with Omarion Hampton, and that we think that, but I do think the Chargers will be plenty balanced. But Najee coming out this week and basically saying he's activated. He's seems like he's potentially going to get a nice little ramp up here into the season, right? Kind of coming together at the right time. So that's not the best news, I don't think, for Omarion Hampton, because that was always kind of my thing, is like I think Najee was going to be a little more thorn in the side than we think, and it wasn't any shade on Omarion Hampton. I just thought that's how kind of Harbs and Roman would have the usage. But Omarion Hampton has the breakaway stuff that none of the other running backs really on that roster possess. So that's the upside. So I think if you want to take a big swing right there at that spot, I think that's a great spot to take a swing, right, at the Omarion Hampton spot. I haven't done it a whole lot. I'm not going to sit here and say I've been pressing the Omarion Hampton button in redraft, but it is redraft. So you get to take the swing, and if it doesn't connect, it doesn't connect. Who cares? It's 1 year. Move on.
Right. That's kind of where I've warmed up to the possibility of just him being in so much more stable of an environment for redraft. I have way less questions about whether or not that offense is going to be good enough for him to get enough volume, meaningful volume to return on investment. So I had an auction last night and I picked him up. And I feel really good about it. I've warmed to the idea that maybe this is worst case scenario, in my opinion. This is rookie year Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon.
Mm-hmm.
Best case scenario, he just comes out and he's able to do what Bucky Irving did with Rachaad White last year.
Yeah, I think that's what exactly super efficient with his touches, breaks some off, catches some balls, and I see Trey Harris went on the pup today. Is that is that correct? Yep. So one less pass catcher. Yep. Great for your Keenan Allen bet though.
Yeah,
great for your Keenan Allen bet there.
Yeah,
didn't like that.
Feeling good about that. Feeling good.
Didn't like that. Good. All right, let's move to the fourth round. We got Marv down 4 spots at 401. So he's getting more and more palatable by the day as far as where to draft him. He was kind of early third when we started this, I feel like.
Yeah.
Then Kenny Walker, Alvin Kamara, both up 2 spots. Mike Evans up 3 spots. Jalen Hurts up 5 spots coming in at the 405. Rashee Rice down 8. That's not enough. There's no chance I'm drafting Rashee Rice in the 4th round for me personally. Terry McLaurin -5. This doesn't reflect, obviously, him now being there. I mean, people, I think, were holding pretty firm. I don't know how much further up you would take him, but I did like 4th round Terry. And then 17 spots, Treveyon Henderson up at 408, baby. Devontae Adams down 8 spots. That was a lot to do with Stafford, obviously. So I think he rebounds probably closer to the 4 turn, or maybe back into the 3rd round, even for some people. I'd be interested to get your take there when we're done. DK Metcalf down 2 spots, 410. Chuba Hubbard down 2 spots, 411. And then Cortland Sutton at the 412. That's the kind of guys that I'm talking about when you go that 4, 5, 6, 7 receivers. Yes. You can get those Cortlands, you can get the Calvin Ridleys, you can get the Tedero McMillans, you can get the George Pickens, you can get the Jameson Williams, and then you can, kind of round that out with like somebody like a Ricky Pearsall. And so all through that range, I can get a bunch of receivers I really, really like, where there's still running backs I like in there. So it's kind of how you want to play it. But you're more reliant on, I like which we'll talk about DeAndre Swift and kind of where he's at. I like Swift and Pollard, and I'll draft Swift and Pollard, but I'd rather be a little more confident in those higher up running backs. And I'm pretty confident in a lot of these wide receivers that are kind of coming that we just talked about. So anything in the 4th round, you in or out on Treveyon, and where are you at with Devontae Adams right now? Confidence restored?
I'm way in on Treveyon. I mean, we knew that.
So 408, you'll take him?
I'm comfortable doing that. Yeah. If I come out of the gates hot and I have a start where it's something along the lines of, I'm on the front end, so maybe like Bijan or Jamar, and then I come back and it's like Lad McConkey. Then when I get here, I'm perfectly fine getting a guy like Treveyon as an upside swing at a potential RB1. I mean, even in that third round, like you've got options. You got, you could go Kenneth Walker. Here you could go Kenneth Walker. I really like a lot of the picks in this range because it's very clear. You have a very clear direction. Like if you're going Jalen Hurts, which I just can't justify doing it with the guys, the value that's in this round. Devontae Adams shouldn't be here, right? Like, you've got to bet on DK Metcalf being an unchallenged alpha in an offense. It's not my cup of tea. It's yours. But there's still a ton of value to be had there for potential 130, 140 targets for one of the best athletes in the NFL. And then my favorite pick out of this whole deal is this little 411, 412 turn with Chuba and Cortland Sutton. Because again, you can start a little skinny on running back, and you've got Chuba Hubbard who's staring you in the face with 300 touches, and Cortland Sutton who's locked in for 130 targets again. So tons of value here.
Yeah, no, this is a great spot. Yeah, on the Hurts thing, like, I mean, if he falls into the 5th round and there is a little maybe spot where it's like, DJ Moore, and which I've actually kind of come around on DJ Moore, but let's say Pickens and Jameson Williams go above where they're saying, and it's like Devonta Smith and DJ Moore and those guys, I can maybe see then going Jalen Hurts and being like, all right, well, I got a difference making quarterback, which can help you out, but not in this range, not in the 4th. Like you said, there's too many clear, identifiable killers or just big time upshots that I could like the Treveyon Hendersons that I could take. So yeah, no, I'm right there with you. I'm fairly back. My confidence was a little rattled on the Puka and Devontae, but that's why we don't draft, 2 weeks ago. That's why we draft this weekend and next weekend.
Right. Beautiful.
So, yeah, fantastic. I mean, still a little worried, but again, it's redrafting. At least Matthew Stafford's out there and by all the accounts looks the part. So 5th round quarterback leading it off. Joe Burrow up a spot. James Conner down 3 spots. Tet up 3 spots. DJ Moore down 3 spots coming in at the 504. RJ Harvey 505. Pickens 506 up a spot. Xavier Worthy up 2 spots. Jameson Williams down 3 spots. Devontae Smith down a spot, and then Zay Flowers down 7 coming in at 510, becoming a more and more of a value. If I can get Zay Flowers in the 6th round, super interested. This is an interesting one. I wouldn't mind spending a second in this round, and then after this round, we won't read the internet here. We'll maybe just kind of pick some guys and talk about guys moving up and down a little bit. So. Interested in your take on David Montgomery. He's up 7 spots. So apparently the public has been liking him. And then Travis Hunter coming in at 512. Palatable Travis Hunter up 4 spots here. So what's your thoughts on David Montgomery right here at 511? This is again why I'd rather be picking running backs early and having some shots, because Calvin Ridley's down here, a couple spots down, and I'd pull the trigger on Calvin Ridley at 511 and feel way better about it. But maybe I'm wrong. What do you think?
I love David Montgomery.
Of course, it's not. If you've been watching this podcast forever, we took so much shit for David Montgomery for so long, and it just vindication has been wonderful.
Right. And so their offense changes. Their offense might change a little bit, but if you need a running back here, I can do this. There's 6 top 10 finishes last year. 6 top 10 finishes last year in 15 weeks before he got hurt. And now it's just we're wish casting Jahmyr Gibbs into a 370 touch workload, and that's not going to happen.
Is that just because that's what we previously had seen kind of take place with the injury and whatnot, and maybe a little bit before that we saw him eating into something, or why do you think that is? Because it is odd, and I kind of feel it a little bit too. Like it feels like maybe I have uncertainty in the Lions offense just because I don't know what it's going to look like. And we just came away from one of the most sought after play callers that I can remember in a while through a few cycles. Right. And Ben Johnson.
So I would tend to agree with you. So I was looking through the last 3 seasons of, the top rushing touchdown, top rushing output and rushing touchdown teams. And the Lions were there, bang, 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 for the last 3 years. And for the last 3 years, they've had a role for an explosive satellite space back, first man by Jamal Williams, and then DeAndre Swift. And then they upgraded to Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. And that's the tandem that has worked for years. So if you still think that Jahmyr Gibbs, they were both RB1s when he got hurt. You know, Jahmyr Gibbs was like RB3 or 4, and David Montgomery was like RB12. So they're still going to run the ball. Mm-hmm. They're going to be one of the most efficient offenses. Sure, they lost Kevin Zeitler and they lost Frank Ragnow retired, but Tate Ratledge, the guard out of Georgia, is a dog. I wanted him where they took him, but like they know what they have. And Brad Holmes has a history of reloading as a GM. So all that to say, I feel much better about David Montgomery because of the fact that like we don't have any sort of sample size of that role not being used in the offense ever. Ben Johnson's gone, sure, but there's no way that they've paid David Montgomery, extended him just to say, hey, man, you're going to be over here and we're just going to spell Jahmyr Gibbs with you. That's fantasy. That's the fantasy community wish casting him into oblivion. And it's just not going to happen from a real football perspective.
Yeah. No, I think you're probably more right than wrong there. So David Montgomery, still good.
Thank you for coming to my Chev talk.
Yeah. DeAndre Swift up 12 spots at 601. Me and Big Co did the live news and notes thing, and it was basically like whoever the running back is for this Bears offense is probably going to be in a really good position. And I think everybody has come more to terms. We started off with, hey, we don't know what to do. And now he's squarely in the driver's seat that this might be one of the biggest payoffs in the drafts right here at RB23.
We've been saying this on the dynasty side, and now we're here on the redraft side. Like, listen, if you're a contender and redraft is just all contending, this is a good shot, a good swing, a good cheap stab at a workhorse role. Like we've said that now a couple times with Swift, we're grossed out because it was a really cool, shiny toy. And now it's just never really lived up to what we thought it could be, but it's at least 12 points a game. That's the baseline. And if he actually is good and efficient behind this upgraded offensive line, that's 16 points a game. And it's available right here in the 6th round. So
yeah, with upside, with 22 point upside, I think.
Yes.
I think this is Tony Pollard last year at 15, and Tony Pollard's actually up 9 spots too. So, these are I think these are my 2 favorite choices for running backs in the 6th, 7th round. If Tony Pollard kind of gets to that 7th round, I start to have to make a decision of, where my build is and what I like. Am I taking Ricky Pearsall? Am I taking Egbuka, or am I taking Tony Pollard? Is Caleb Johnson up 4 spots? I haven't taken him in any draft, just letting the public decide. Pacheco up 6 spots at 602. Any interest there? Because I'm not because I'm anti-Pacheco, but there's just the Ridleys, the Pollards, the Swifts. But maybe Pacheco is a nice, easy answer right there.
Right. It's unsexy. It's not. There's no luster. There's nothing to really be super excited about because we're no longer assuming that he's going to handle that, like those workhorse duties. But in all seriousness, everything that I said about DeAndre Swift could be said about Isaiah Pacheco as well. Mm-hmm. But it's just not it's not Calvin Ridley with fresh off the heels of 2024, Jaden Daniels, Terry McLaurin. You're looking at Cam Ward coming in with a guy as talented as we visibly and tangibly can see with Calvin Ridley. And that's just a really, really fun pick, to make because that the upside I feel like is much higher for if Calvin Ridley hits than if Isaiah Pacheco hits. Like, and that's just what it feels. That's my own personal feeling. I won't say I can't speak for. Yeah. I won't speak for anybody but myself, but that's just what I feel like the sentiment is. Yeah. And then I can't create a path for. I'm not in on Sam Laporta. I would just much rather either get Tony Pollard or Calvin Ridley in this range, or DeAndre Swift, just because I can, that he catches passes. So though
be sure to follow us on the Twitters, the Instagrams, and the TikToks. Slide in them comments and help us beat the algorithm up. Like
those are pretty easy clicks for me. Outside of that, it just gets pretty. It's like I might take another guy I'm a little bit higher on the consensus here, as opposed to what the ADP is giving me.
Yeah, I throw Laporta in the queue, and if he lasts a little while longer, I'll start to think about him. But for me, I'm an Evan Ingram in the 8th kind of guy. Another tight end that's fallen, TJ Hawkinson. I will say I haven't pressed the button on him. He's probably an interesting buy in Dynasty because I believe in the talent there. And look, we could come out and he could be JJ's favorite guy real quick, right? Yes. And this could be a mistake that we haven't really given him any due, I don't think, on any show we've done redraft wise. But
because there's just nothing sexy to point to when you're looking at what he put on tape last year. But if you can, if you don't recency bias yourself, you're like, wait, he was awesome before he tore his ACL. And if you're a TJ Hawkinson guy, this is a generational buying opportunity at the 6'11".
Yeah. Let's see here. We got Joe Mixon down 14 spots into the 6-12. Not far enough for me to take Joe Mixon just yet. Although now we're at least he's going to be out for 4 games, and you can probably put him on the IR. How far does Mixon have to go for you to pick him and be able to sit him out for a minute?
He's off the board.
Yeah, he'd have to be double digits for me.
Yeah, I have him. We're 12 rounds. I have him around like round 11 or 12. Like the beginning of round 12, maybe.
Yeah. How about Jacoby Myers with some trade talks conference? He's up 4 spots, 702. A favorite pick of mine because he just feels real safe. Didn't get a contract extension. Any concern to be drafting him?
We talked about Jacoby Myers being one of the guys that hit Joseph quality stats model really likes because he's always going to outperform his ADP. He's at wide receiver 37 at the 702 right here. It's a safe pick. It's not going to miss. You're just betting on him staying healthy. He's going to outperform wide receiver 37. It's a mistake, but we're taking guys with way more upside. There's no upside here. Right? Well, maybe there is. He's getting good quarterback play for the first time in a couple of years. So maybe there's a little upside, more upside than we're giving it credit for, but there's built-in upside in his price because he's not going to finish as a wide receiver 37, either in aggregate or points per game.
Yeah. Yeah. No, if Ricky Pearsall's there, I'll take him just because I like the upside of what it could be a little more. And I think there's probably a safe floor, but then it's basically auto pick Jacoby Myers and Pearsall's right now up 9 spots at 705. So he's a couple spots below Myers, but sometimes I'll see Pearsall end to 6 and that really hurts my heart. That 705 is nice for him.
Casey, let me ask you this. Like, I've been guilty of doing this. I 1000% have clicked the button on Ricky Pearsall over Jacoby Myers.
No, yeah, same. Almost every time if he's there.
Yeah, like that's the thing. Is like we know Jacoby Myers. We know for a fact Jacoby Myers is going to outperform ADP, but the upside on Ricky Pearsall is like, damn, that boy good. Like that's just you start like thinking about, oh man, there's a whole lot to like about Ricky Pearsall. There's no Brandon Ayuk,
for a while.
Yeah, Juwan Jennings got calf contractilitis. Like there's a path you just start talking yourself into it. But all that to say, Jacoby Myers is one of the best picks, safest picks on the board here.
Yeah. I've been finding myself liking Diggs, all this. I don't know if 706 seems a little high, but when you start looking at a bunch of other guys, I'd prefer Diggs. I guess I'm maybe thinking more of fast draft scenario where you get Diggs a little later than that.
Yeah.
Which I actually really like. But Egbuka's up 19 spots below him. That's probably 708. I feel like he's probably like, are you taking Egbuka or are you taking Jacoby Myers or Pearsall?
I have
relatively
Pearsall
close.
Ranked really aggressively. And I had Egbuka around like wide receiver 38. So
I got Egbuka ranked 37.
Yeah, I've got him at
Myers at 38 and Pearsall at 29.
Yeah, I've got Pearsall at 27. So yeah, that's the order that I would be taking him. Yeah, I'd take Pearsall. I'd take Pearsall over at Egbuka right now.
Yeah, skipped over my guy Olave up there, down 9. So he's getting more and more palatable. Egbuka, though, I feel like this is probably he's up 19 spots, and I feel like people are even taking him higher currently.
Yes.
So I don't even think he's full peak.
In any auction, he's 25 plus now. Like on a $200 budget, it's great. It's crazy.
Yeah, Matthew Golden's up 11 spots. Evan Ingram 804. He's down a spot. Shakir's down 5 spots. Let that fall keep happening. Miss some time. Jordan Mason plus 13 there at 806. Bo Nix down 13 spots. I don't know who he hurt, but whatever. Chris Godwin down 18. That's not far enough, probably. I don't exactly know what the plight of him is. Warren's climbing up. Tyler Warren's up 7 spots. Baker Mayfield's up 7 spots. J.K. Dobbins up 17 spots. What do you think that's about?
Depth chart warriors.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. I mean, he's a value here. He's a value here, in my opinion. I think he's a value here.
Right. We're into 1Bs or handcuffs essentially at this point. Right.
But I think that's the thing is he's moving up so far because you can create a path to him getting 60 yards and a touchdown in week 1, and he's been really good whenever he's been healthy. He just kind of wears down because his body doesn't like football. So, Sean Payton's going to use more than one back. We've known that the entire time. We've known that it's more likely that RJ Harvey's prowess comes from him catching a shit ton of passes and being really good as opposed to him being a 300 touch workhorse. Mm-hmm. Like we knew that. And we didn't react to the J.K. Dobbins news enough, in my opinion.
I think appropriately reacted. I mean, that was mostly in the dynasty spectrum of how I'm looking at it. But yeah, no, I mean, I think he's going to get some run, but I think RJ Harvey's going to be, quite the pass catching.
Great. Yes. Yeah. RJ Harvey's still going to be great. Don't hear what I'm not saying. I'm just saying there's going to be more than one meaningful piece of the backfield, and we got to be okay with that.
Yeah. Yep. Charbonnet up 8 spots. Love Sharbs, 909. I feel like the Kenny Walker Sharbs pairing, and even if I don't have Kenny Walker, I'll take Sharbs at 909.
Yes. You going J.K. Dobbins? You going Sharbs?
I'll take Sharbs.
You going J.K. Dobbins or you going Scatterbo?
Probably J.K. Dobbins.
You going Javonte Williams or J.K. Dobbins?
I'll take Javonte Williams, and I know that's probably I just shot it. I know you don't like him and you think he's washed. Maybe he is at this point in the 9th round, though. Maybe he's the one, the guy for the Cowboys for the season. I don't know. Maybe a little bit of bounce back here, hidden gem potentially. So that just rationale. And then the reason I'm going Sharbs is just I trust that run scheme, and if anything happens to Kenny Walker, which it has before, you've walked right into an RB1. I think if something happens to Harvey, I don't think J.K. Dobbins walks into RB1 for an entire season. I think they'll rotate other backs in there.
I'm with you on Sharbs. I'm obviously, I'm not with you on Javonte.
Yeah, I know.
The last Jaylen Warren or J.K. Dobbins?
Probably Warren, but mostly because I've probably taken care of my needs at running back earlier. But I don't mind having Dobbins. Where's Warren at here? 8-10.
Yeah.
I can go J.K. Dobbins because I might have drafted Harvey.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's kind of where I land.
Give me Warren. Give me Warren.
No.
I like Tucker Kraft down here at 10-2 and Njoku 9-11. So maybe Dobbins.
Yeah, I like this. I like this range of tight ends.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I mean, I'm an Evan Ingram guy through and through in this redraft cycle. I just like that 804 where I can get him and what I think the output's going to be. But I don't mind Warren, Njoku, Kraft. Those guys are all solid picks, and I could even double tap through there potentially. So Jaden Blue's up 9 spots. Tank Bigsby up 17 spots. This is a good spot for Tank Bigsby. Unfortunately, Mooney's even, which is kind of weird, but and he's kind of they're kind of talking about that they're not really sure when they're going to get him back. That's kind of weird.
I don't like that.
I didn't like that either. Yeah. Luther Burden up 15 spots. I don't like him climbing up that high. It probably might be a couple of weeks before that. Everyone's talking about the post-bye bump for Burden. I think eventually Burden's going to be on the field. He's too good not to be. Benson's up 11 spots. Jake Ferguson's up 12 spots. If you miss on a tight end, this is your guy, Jake Ferguson.
Mm-hmm.
Chubb's up 39 spots, baby. Why not? At this point, you can get Woody Marks super late if you want, if you prefer. The slot demon's down 7. Trey Harris is down 14. Marvin Mims down 6. Goff down 10. Cedric Tillman up 11. Pitts up 15. Any interest? I've been talking myself back into Pitts.
He can't hurt me again.
Braylon Allen up 42 spots. Probably not up enough spots.
Yeah, that's an auto select. My boy Keene, Austin Eckler, 1205.
Yeah, Austin Eckler has what?
You have been ringing the bell on this one for months.
Yeah, I really have.
For months. And I was like, I'll just take last round undrafted Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt.
Which is
and that worked. That might work. But here's the thing. Austin Eckler's gonna get the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to do well with it. And as long as he's healthy, this is a smash ADP. Like he's in line for way more opportunities than Braylon Allen, probably than Keenan Allen, definitely more opportunities than Rachaad White. And we don't know what Kyle Williams' role is going to be for redraft right out of the gate. We know what the fuck Austin Eckler is going to be doing on September 7th.
Yeah, I tend to agree there. It's been an easy select, especially if you're hunting for RBs that could if you're hunting for handcuffs for different reasons, that's fine. But if you're looking for somebody that you might need to be able to plug in week 1 because you took a couple of upside swings and you only have like one anchored RB or something, I love like an Eckler and a Chubb kind of here late. This is a lot of fun.
It's gonna matter.
Yeah, and Braylon Allen can help you out. Yeah, no, I'm with you. And then we can end with kind of talking a little Krosky Merritt. There was Dante Thornton's up 35 spots.
Love to see it.
Yeah, I mean he's out there making an impact. It appears. Zach Ertz is another one. Like Jake Ferguson. If you missed a tight end, this is pull cord in case of emergency. Ertz is a nice little free pickup on your tight end area. Demaro Douglas up 16 spots. He's a nice grab late. I don't know why Justin Fields is down 10 spots, but my God, in redraft, like please, if I could get Justin Fields in the 13th round, I'm in.
It makes no sense.
But obviously they're gonna run it a lot, but so is he.
He's
Krosky Merritt. Yeah, Krosky Merritt up 66 spots here. 13-11, still not high enough, right? From where he is. Let's play the Krosky Merritt game to end this podcast because he's the hottest in these streets. And if you have something else to add before we go, you certainly can throw it in there. But I kind of have him slotted in once we start into these 1Bs and backup running backs. Kind of that's the area where I see him being like, all right, this is more appropriate to draft. So I'm going to assume that at 901, you'd rather have Bill Krosky Merritt over Javonte Williams.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And Scatterbo.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Dobbins?
Not over Dobbins.
Oh, okay. Over Sharbs?
No.
Okay. Let's see where I have Krosky Merritt ranked. I have Krosky Merritt ranked one spot above Austin Eckler. They're even, actually.
Yeah, I would in redraft. I would prefer Austin Eckler for right now.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, dynasty play. We've talked about that. That's if something happens to Austin Eckler, then we'll start packing our bags from a redraft perspective with JCM. But if you in this range, if you want to reach up and take him, I've seen him go in the 8th round a couple times now. That's a little rich for my blood, but we're getting into that 9, that 9, 10.
Ninth. Yeah. Would you rather have you'd rather have Jordan Mason than Krosky Merritt, right? That's the 8th round running back that I kind of don't mind. Let's see here. Would you rather have Ramondre?
I would rather have JCM.
Okay. How about Tank Bigsby? I think I'm
Bigsby.
Tank Bigsby. Okay. Jalen Warren?
Jalen Warren.
I got Jalen Warren 2 spots ahead of Merritt right now.
Yeah.
So
I'd rather have Jalen Warren right now today.
Mm-hmm. And what are we doing with Quinshon Judkins? Where would you draft him, or are you not drafting him?
Can we put him on? If you can put him on can you put him on the IR spot if he's on the commissioner's exempt thing?
I'm not sure. I think that's a setting that you might be able to choose.
Yeah, I don't, because right now, even though the legal thing's resolved, he's not under contract.
Right.
Like he could get under contract. So, I'd have to draft him in the 11th, 12th.
Yeah, he'd have to be outside of the usable players.
Yeah, the same range. Yeah, the same range I'm taking Joe Mixon, like that range.
Mm-hmm.
Players that I don't know if I'm going to be able to use in the immediate future, got to be in the double-digit rounds.
Could be awesome. Probably going to be a first cut for some people if you can't put him in that in any sort of unusable where he doesn't hurt your overall count. All right. Anything else before we wrap up? I know this was kind of I just wanted to come in here and update this one more time. If you got later drafts of just kind of the idea of where guys are going and that kind of stuff. And we're going to be, next time you hear us, we'll probably be into, weekly sit starts, projections, rankings for the season. So, just kind of one more round of ADP of the average draft position, if you're not familiar with what that stands for, and kind of where we stood on it. So, Chev, anything else?
No, man. You know what I always say. There's ball watchers and ball knowers. Assign yourselves accordingly.
That's right.
Until next time.
Peace.